All right, you guys, welcome back to the Game Time Gazette. This is your host, Isaiah Neni. And, before anything, thank you for joining me on another week. It was a beautiful weekend of sports. We had UFC Fight Night. We had a lot of, European soccer coming back after the international break. We had basketball, March Madness just got madder. Finally getting into the later stages of March Madness. Had the Elite 8 and round of 16 this past weekend for both men's and women's. What else we got? We got MLB Opening Weekend. NBA and NHL are nearing their end of their seasons. So we got that wrapping up. We got a lot of things to cover. Probably won't be able to cover it all today, but we got it all here on the Game Time Gazette. So without further ado, let's get going. Let's start on the MLB opening day. I mean, it's just a quick hitter right here. First thing first, the first game that probably everybody was watching in MLB opening day was the Dodgers against the Los Angeles Dodgers against the St. Louis Cardinals. For a number of reasons, but the most important one is that this is the most stacked team in baseball history. There has never been a team that has these many big names, and this much star power on one roster. And I mean, we just seen it all unfold this weekend. They did lose a game against the Cardinals. Cardinals did a good job, and I believe it was game 3 of the series to really start fighting back, or game 2 start fighting back and be able to get a comeback win against the Dodgers there. I really expected the Dodgers to, obviously it's the start of the season, right? So it's not going to be like they're going to start off on a 20-game win streak. So that's where I was wrong. That's the novice baseball knowledge that I have. You see what I'm saying? Like that's the novice in me. An experienced baseball guy would know, okay, first few games they'll lose out. First 25 of these games, it'll be a feeling out process. They'll win most of their games, but they'll lose a few of them, and then the people will be like, oh, are the Dodgers for real? Even though nobody was asking that after the St. Louis Cardinals lost, but it's gonna happen, right? They're gonna lose games. I mean, it's a 165 game season. We do expect the Dodgers to do great things this season, but it's going to happen that they're going to lose some games here. Me personally, I'm just saying it because I'm a novice, right? Again, I'm a novice. So I was like, hey, Dodgers are going to go on a 25-game win streak. After watching the first game, it was, okay, Mookie Betts comes out. He got a single, I believe. And then Ohtani. Like, this is the first sequence of the game. So Mookie gets a single, Ohtani comes out, he gets a double, overruns the second play. If you were following the Game Time Gazette, you probably kept up with it. You were up to date with it, because as soon as it happened, I posted it. I was watching the game too. But yeah, he overran second base. Boom, Freddie Freeman gets on, and he singles as well. And then Will Smith gets on, he singles as well. And then it was just like quick hitters, man. And then you got Max Muncy up there as well. You got great hitters on that Dodgers lineup. And I mean, 1 through 5, most especially, we're talking Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, Will Smith, and Max Muncy. I mean, we're talking, I don't think it gets better 1 through 5 in baseball, hitting wise. And then, obviously their bullpen has always been great. They've always got great starting pitchers. Still got Clayton Kershaw, one of the best regular season pitchers. I say regular season because, hey, everybody knows how Clayton is when they get to the playoffs. But nonetheless, that might change this year. You never know. But hey, for sure that this probably will be one of the best regular seasons we've ever seen in baseball history. That's why, a lot of people are tuned in. That's why I'm tuned in, trying to see, Shohei and the Dodgers, if they can or if they can't achieve greatness this season. And it doesn't mean that they have to go break the wins records or something like that. I'm expecting, 110 wins. You know what I'm saying? Just 110 wins. Something like that's an extraordinary season. That's a great season right there. And I'm expecting that from the Dodgers. 110 wins at least, not just 100, expecting 110 wins at least. So I'm thinking at the end of the season they'll have 120, 130 wins. That's a lot. So they'll only have 30 losses. We'll see. We'll see. It'll be interesting to see, but definitely, like, just talking about their star power, their firepower, even without the controversy, Shohei Ohtani betting, whatever, Ipe, whatever. They have the best. I mean, this team, like, as soon as the game started, okay, this is why everybody was mad that watches baseball. Because if you really watch baseball, and I'm not saying that I do or don't, but, like, if you really do, you could see that. I mean, it's just different sauce up there, man. It's different sauce up there in LA. The way they're hitting now, it's just different sauce. Like, they're playing a different game. They're never out of it. They were down 4-0 to the Cardinals yesterday. Were able to come back, win 5-4. They're never out of it. 4-0 in the bottom of the sixth. Never out of it. Always in the game. Because they have not just the top of the order, but the bottom of the order as well. Middle of the order. Hitting comes from everywhere on that Dodgers lineup. So it's going to be a fun team to watch. Me personally, I don't have any like, oh, I hate the Dodgers, because I didn't grow up watching baseball. But for you baseball fans, I understand why you would hate the Dodgers, why you would hate the Yankees, or why you would hate all these teams that spend big money, you know what I'm saying, to be able to get success. But me personally, I am excited to watch this Dodgers greatness. Or if it doesn't end up being a great season, let's see it, let's see why it's not a great season. It's always a great discussion to have great teams in sports and, dynasty kind of caliber teams in sports. And the Dodgers are definitely one of them. And I'll be watching them all year. Really keeping my eye on baseball for sure. Next thing I was going to talk about with the opening weekend, because a lot of games happen. I just said 62 something game season, right? So it's like this first weekend, I'm not getting any type of, the Royals are ass and the Guardians are great. You know what I'm saying? I'm not thinking like that. Because it's the first weekend of the season, and I understand I got to get a little bit more integrated into what the nitty-gritties of the sport are. So I say that because, you talk about the Dodgers, obviously all their firepower and everything. Not really anything to say on most of the other teams as the weeks go on. We'll start covering, as we get more information type. But the one team that we've gotten information on, and it seems like not a lot is changing in that organization, is the Oakland Athletics. And it's the A's, the A's fans this weekend, they boycotted the opening weekend due to the owner who announced the move to Las Vegas, which would be happening in 2028. They just drew 4,118 people at the Coliseum on the attendance. Oh, that's for yesterday. They had 4,118 people at the Coliseum. I believe that was yesterday, or that might have been opening day. 4,000 people on opening day. Numbers, I just got these numbers from the internet, so these aren't like, okay, you know what I'm saying? But for the total series, they got 26,902 attendance record. It was ridiculous. No fans are, obviously the Oakland, for a few years now, they've been boycotting the team because of the way the owner has been. Honestly, even when you watch Moneyball and you understand the story behind Brad Pitt, he had acted great in it, this and that. But hey, not a lot of people in Oakland liked the owner, liked the general manager because of their spending. They didn't spend anything. Even when the Oakland A's were great, they didn't spend a lot. You know what I'm saying? To be able to keep them afloat, this and that. And the 90s went by. Oakland A's were one of the better teams in the 90s. 2000s come up, still a good team. Obviously, we get to where we are now, where they're the worst team in baseball. Fans don't even want to watch their games, and it's like really having this vendetta against the owner and the whole franchise itself, because moving to Las Vegas, that's the last team in Oakland. Obviously, all you sports fans know this story. It's the last team left in Oakland. The Warriors left. The Raiders left. So it's like that's the last team left there, right? So 2028 is still a ways away, though. That's the one thing I seen, and I'm like, the owner is able to afford this amount of loss for 4 more years? Really? Why aren't they moving like 2026, 2027? I understand that they're building a whole new stadium, but I feel like there should be like a stadium that they use before they start the whole, before they go into that new stadium. Just like I think the Raiders did it too. I'm not too sure, but before they go in, because are you able to afford this type of loss? There was 4,000 people, 4,118 people at opening day. The whole 4-game series had 26,902 people. To put that into context, Blue Jays versus Rays attendance. To put that into context, the average attendance at a Blue Jays game, Blue Jays in Tampa Bay played yesterday. The attendance yesterday was 37,307 people. That's 11,000 more people than it was for the whole series. Baseball's already a sport where you have tickets where, bro, I want to see what the Oakland A tickets cost. Do they cost like $5? Like, Oakland A's tickets must be $5. They must be free because, wow, the owner's already losing the money. Where is he making any type of money? He's paying those guys millions of dollars, first of all, to play, the manager millions, all the people that work around the event arena. Bro, this guy definitely, wow. And that's the thing as well, right? If he spent on his money, if he spent on his team, invested on his team, like the Dodgers are investing on their team, there would never be a spot where the fans never want to invest in them as well. What are we even talking about? That's baseball for you. Nah, that's Oakland A's baseball for you. It's very disappointing, even to think about what the thought process of the owner is right now. All he's doing is, bro, there's 160 games in the season. He's not going to make any. It's going to be fascinating to see how much he invested, and fascinating to see if he even gets close to breaking even this season, because obviously every season new money got to be spent, right? And for 4 more years, wow. Wow. Let's get to European football top 5 league action back on the plata, which was great. Went to international break, got a lot of friendlies, got a great look at a lot of Lamine Yamal, got a standing ovation at the Santiago Bernabeu. Obviously Spanish fans, all of that, but he had a beautiful performance. 16 years old, that kid. But nonetheless, we're back to our regular domestic leagues. Top 5 leagues came back, and I want to start with the one league that, hey, it's a farmers league. There's just a new farmer in it now. The Bundesliga, man. It's like Bayern Leverkusen. I was surprised. I've said it on a podcast before. I'm surprised that they're still unbeaten. This and that. But this game against Hoffenheim, that they stayed unbeaten, I'm shocked. I'm shocked that they are. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense that they were still unbeaten. They were down 1-0 early. 30 minutes early. Highlights are playing for you guys right now. Hoffenheim, they played pretty well. Obviously, we've seen this Leverkusen team. It's not like they have big names in this team. We've seen this Leverkusen team put together some fantastic results, even when the other team is playing at their best. Hoffenheim just connecting up front, the 2 taps, the 2 touches. The passing was crisp in the first half. Everything that you would want from your team. Hoffenheim's a struggling team in the Bundesliga. Let me look at where they are in the in the table, struggling team in the Bundesliga, right? So it's, ninth. They're right there. They're right there in the middle. They could have great performances, type even better on my point. They're right there in the middle. They could have good performances, but have not played into up to average, up to par for the whole season. Obviously, it's match day 37, so we're reaching a later part of the season right now. So, but Hoffenheim, my point is, Hoffenheim is a great team. Not great. I just keep trying to fumble my words. They're an okay team. They're a team that can get you. And they almost got Leverkusen. I'm surprised they didn't. It got to, the 88th minute in the game for Leverkusen to be able to tie this game up. And then not only tie this game up, but win in added time. Xabi Alonso has done an absolute maza with this team. I mean, this team has no big names, no big talent. I mean, he's created, it's not just about, he has great goal scorer up front. It's about the synergy without the whole team. And they also have belief that they're always in the games. Always in the games, attacking relentlessly, just continuing to attack, continuing to defend well, continuing to open up their chances. They had a chance earlier in the game where it was called back for an offside. They scored, they tied it up, they thought, and they just continue to pound on, continue to get onto your half, continue to get, to continue to lead possession, to continue to dominate possession. Xabi Alonso, once he leaves Leverkusen, he's going to be one of the most sought after men in the Europe's top 5 leagues. One of the most sought after coaches, because, obviously we got the announcement this weekend after this big win that he's not leaving, that he's going to stay one more season. Obviously, it's because for 2 reasons, honestly. One, maybe the team that he wants to go to doesn't want to pay that release clause. 2, He wants to do something else with this Leverkusen team. Try him out in the Champions League, because they are going to make the Champions League next season. Not if but they will make the Champions League next season. They lead by 10 points in the league against Bayern Munich. Bayern themselves, they're not getting, they're playing trash. We'll get to Bayern in a minute, but before we do, just want to give the second props up to the Leverkusen boys. Bayer Leverkusen and Xabi Alonso. Xabi Alonso has done an absolute maza. It's crazy. Like, if you don't watch the sport, if you're not tapped in, you don't realize how crazy what he has done with this team. Leverkusen, they were okay last year. I'm not saying that they were bad, this and that. They finished in 4th in the league. They were okay. Alonso has made them invincible. They haven't lost a game. They haven't lost not one game. And it's ridiculous, man. 90 plus 6, 90 plus 1, 90 plus 7, 90 plus 10. They will get a goal in to tie it up or win the game, because they will not lose. They do not quit. The tactics, the just fights, the wherewithal from a team to just continue to fight like they do is what makes them, they're 36, 39 matches unbeaten now. 39 matches unbeaten. They could really do a maza. Only so much of the league to go. The finish line could be seen, especially if they're winning the league. I'm thinking about invincible season. It's a very, very, very possible thing that they're able to be invincible this season, which is crazy to think about. No stars on the team, no big names, just consistent work, great team play. They don't give up. And they're always focused. Xabi Alonso has coached these guys to a T. He's going to be one of the most sought after managers in Europe for a reason. I wouldn't even be surprised if he's, chased down this summer. Even though he said he's not leaving, maybe it's a tactic. negotiation tactic to be able to get Leverkusen more money and himself more money. Because how could you not offer that man a contract? It's going to be a mazza to see what team ends up with him. Obviously, we know he's not going to stay with Leverkusen for his whole career. He's going to do great things with him, of course. Of course. But he's going to go to bigger and better things. And it's going to be a mazza to see how Xabi Alonso does. I mean, even though Xavi, the Barcelona coach, Xavi Hernandez, he was it's hard though, because Barcelona is one of the biggest clubs in the world, if not the biggest club in the world. The media, it's like you're in New York City. Like legit, it's like you're in New York City for football, for soccer. And it's like so much pressure. They hate on you for no reason. They hate on you when they're not even supposed to hate on you. So it's like them, I just bring this up because that generation of players, just such smart football minds. But, I wish that Xavi was able, Xavi was able to stay with Barcelona. So we could, the possibility is there where Xabi Alonso comes back to Real Madrid, even though Liverpool's in the talks. But the possibility is there, as, where Real Madrid's probably going to get a new manager in a year or two. With Ancelotti probably going to retire. Most likely, he's been managing for a really long time. His end days are near, and probably go coach Brazil, something like that. I don't know what Ancelotti's going to do, but he's not going to be coaching Real Madrid for too long. It would have been so fun to see that. And that's what makes me sad. All right, let's talk about Bayern Munich, the winners of the last 11 Bundesliga titles. They just continue to struggle. Thomas Tuchel, they just continue to struggle. They continue to disappoint. This season, not only have they been disappointing, I mean, in that first leg against Porto, where it wasn't against Porto. Let me check their Champions League. It wasn't against Porto. Against Lazio. What do we even talk? Lazio, brother. It was just disappointing, It was against. It was just like Lazio that stands in 7th in the Serie A right now. They lost that first game. They were able to come back, win the second game, this and that, but it shouldn't have been that hard. It shouldn't have been that hard at all. And then you had Bayern this weekend against the opponent that they've absolutely dominated these last 10, 15 years. They've absolutely dominated Dortmund. They lost their first game to Dortmund in 10 years in Munich. In 10 years. I mean, Thomas Tuchel's TC. We already know that Thomas Tuchel isn't going to be the coach for Bayern Munich next season. I'm confused. Not confused on why they didn't fire him. Obviously, just the whole thing where they could look for the manager on the back. They already did fire him. Basically, said. I mean, after the first leg of Lazio, they said if you don't win the second leg, go home. They told him to go if he doesn't win the second, like wherever Bayern stops. I guess right now it's looking like wherever they end up in the Champions League, if they lose next round, Tuchel's gone. That's the way it's looking like. It's a ticking time bomb that's ticking louder and louder in Tuchel's head in Bayern Munich's facility that he's not going to be there next year. And they continue to disappoint. I mean, the Harry Kane just banter that's out there that's like, hey, Harry Kane, you could take him out of Tottenham, but you can't take the Tottenham out of him because they're probably not going to win a trophy this year. It is mad to think about. Bayern Munich, the winner of the last 11 Bundesliga titles. 11 straight, not 11 here, 11 straight title winners. They won a few Champions Leagues. Obviously, it's been a few years since they did that, but won a few Champions Leagues. They win the Pulse Cup. They win their, the little cups that they had, the domestic cups. They didn't even win one of those this year. Not gonna win the Bundesliga. They're 10 points down of Leverkusen. And after 2-0 against Dortmund, where Karim Adeyemi, he opened up the scoring in 10 minutes. Thomas Tuchel looked at it. He looked at it happen and he said, that's the season over. He said, congratulations to Bayer Leverkusen. These are quote unquote. I ain't making this up. I ain't speaking for him. This is quote unquote Thomas Tuchel's words. He was asked if the title race was over. He replied, obviously, yes. After today's game, there is no more need to count points. How many is it now? Congratulations to Leverkusen. I understand he knows that he's fired. He knows that, hey, all this is banter. He's just really trying to get another job as well. I don't think he'll get another job in Europe though. Not in the top 5 leagues. Not where he's looking to get. Not in a caliber of a Chelsea or a Bayern or. I mean, if he does really want to continue, he'd probably take a year break. Probably take a little break mentally, physically, all of that, and maybe see him come back MLS or something. See him go back. If he does go back to Europe, it's gonna be a lesser team, like on the likes of like a Getafe. Them type of teams. But this is, your coach is, congratulations to Bayer Leverkusen. I can't say much after that. If Thomas Tuchel is declaring it as well, it's the truth. The team doesn't seem inspired, and a lot of things have happened in the background. After the firing of Nagels, a lot of things have happened in the background of that Bayern squad. Even Alphonso Davies, right, where they gave Alphonso Davies an ultimatum of, you gotta sign your contract or you're not. Stupid decisions that the Bayern Munich board are doing. Like, they don't read the rumors, man. If Fabrizio is posting it, it's not a rumor, it's a fact. And Fabrizio posted that that Real Madrid, even though it disappoints me greatly, because this guy Alphonso Davies talks about Barcelona day and night, about Messi fan day and night, but it's okay. We don't have the money to get him, so we're set in the back line, honestly. But we would love Alphonso Davies. But Real Madrid is looking to get Alphonso Davies, and they've been pushing, they've been trying hard, and I'd be surprised if they didn't succeed, because Alphonso Davies is not renewing a contract with Bayern Munich, and he's not doing it because, quote unquote, as his agent says, felt threatened with the ultimatum given unto them. Which makes sense. I wouldn't be surprised. With everything going on in Bayern right now, and you're giving your players ultimatums, Kimmich looking to leave. You got your best players looking to leave. Lewandowski left 2 years ago. That's the tough times going on in Bayern. And doesn't seem like it's gonna get any better. It's gonna be. I'm laughing. I'm smiling. Because Bayern did do a Mazda to my team recently. It's still fresh, even though it wasn't as recent. But just bad decisions from the board, and then that all trickles down to the field, and we see it. No stability at the top. You're not going to get any stability at the bottom. And Bayern Munich, they felt so invincible. That's the thing. They were at the mountaintop for way too long. They needed to lose. They needed to get back down on earth. Even last year, they weren't supposed to win the league. Dortmund fumbled. I've never seen a fumble like Dortmund fumbled the league last year ever. They weren't supposed. Bayern wasn't supposed to win the league last year. Dortmund was. Dortmund fumbled it on the last day. Even a draw would have given them the lead. These guys lost. But nonetheless, yeah, it's that whole Bayern thing is going to be very, very interesting as, Champions League and all of that continues to go on. We'll continue to cover him here. Last thing I wanted to cover was probably the biggest game in European football this weekend, Arsenal versus City. there's a new sole first place holder in the Premier League, and they are the Liverpool Never Walk Alone FC. Yeah, they beat Brighton 2-1. Came back to beat Brighton 2-1. Able to do that, Mazza. Yeah, and Arsenal and City ended 0-0. It was a disappointing game. I mean, disappointing game from Haaland. You know, it looked like he was inside Saliba and Gabriel's pocket. That's what the streets are saying. That's what the streets are saying. But not being able to get a shot off, you know, okay, no goals. Okay, 0 goals. But not even able to get a shot off? Come on, man. Nah, that's disappointed. That's disappointed. I'm not going to lie. I am not going to lie. And, you know, for a team like City, this is one of those games that I expected them to come out and win. You know, these are the games that they really do their Mazzas. Puts Liverpool, you know, slightly ahead. You know, 2 points up on Arsenal, 3 points up on City. And it gives them the advantage. You know, now all Liverpool has to do is stand clear. They don't verse City again this season. I believe they do verse Arsenal one more time this season, but even with that, you know, we see Arsenal getting these, you know, got to be more critical. Arsenal, they made no chances yesterday. The chances they made early in the game, Gabriel Jesus, I mean, it didn't even, as soon as it left his feet, they all looked trash. All the attempts and shots, they all looked trash. It didn't look like they had any power, low to the ground, and far wide. It was like that. You know, they weren't creating a lot of chances, Arsenal was. It was domination of possession from City, and City doing nothing with the domination of possession, which was very surprising and very disappointing. The chances they created were few where it should have been many, which was the surprising thing, right? But end of the day, Liverpool, they're first place in the Prem. Now they have the driver's seat with, I believe it's like 12, 13, don't quote me on it, 12, 13, 14 more match days left. So it's still a substantial bit of time left, for sure. But Liverpool does hold, you know, the upper hand. They don't even verse City again this season. So this is a very, you know, a Liverpool team. I mean, they could beat Arsenal. They could draw against Arsenal and still win the league. That's how much, you know, because even if they draw against Arsenal, okay, they still lead Arsenal by 1 point. They'll still lead City by 2. So they stand in a very great position. All they have to do is really cannot drop consistent points. They can't drop a lot of points. Obviously, I'm not saying Liverpool won the league. No, but they stand in a very great position. Very great position. What was I gonna say? Yeah, I mean, it was a great conversation here today. We do got women's Elite 8, you know, the final Elite 8. So we got Syracuse. Sorry, guys, man. I'm thinking of a lot of things right now. But we got, let me just pull them up, because I can't even. All right, so we got UConn versus USC. And we got Iowa versus LSU. We got the national championship rematch on tonight, with also like the young stars type of matchup of the future. Paige Buchers against Juju Watkins. Tomorrow, those are some fun games. I'm going to be watching those, and I will be covering the college ball, both men's and women's sides. Just from what happened from the March Madness Elite 16? No, round of 16, Elite 8. And, you know, to be able to get to the point we are now, where we're Final Four weekend into the men's, we got 2 teams set up for the Final Four in the women's side. So yeah, just be sure to check up, you know, the Game Time Gazette back tomorrow, as we will be doing that. We'll be covering a little bit more NBA as well. Probably Wednesday's episode is going to be more on NBA and just the whole season outlook. Going to be giving grades, team grades so far. I mean, almost the end of the season. Basically got like less than 10 games left for most teams now. Going to give team grades. No, it's a little early. I know I could do it at the end of the season, but team grades. Going to give my updated look at MVP, DPOY, Rookie of the Year, Head Coach of the Year, all of the MIP, all of the fun stuff. And yeah, just be sure to check back with me in the Game Time Gazette. We're going to have a fun week, an informative week. You're going to learn a lot. You're going to learn a lot. Trust me, it's not just going to be conversations. Trust me. You're going to learn a lot of basketball, soccer, football, everything that you want to learn right here on the Game Time Gazette. It's been your host, Isaiah Aneni. And again, I thank you guys for joining me on another day. Yesterday was Easter. Today's Easter Monday. He is risen. I want you guys to just thank Jesus, thank God today for, the day he has made. And, he loves you. So, send up a talk with him, have a little bit of talk, a little bit of time for conversation with him. You won't regret it at all. And as always, it's been your host, Isaiah Aneni. It's been the Game Time Gazette. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.